Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob, with something off his face.
I know, it looks weird, that baby face.
I feel like a little boy.
Fight that feeling, Rob. Fight that feeling. Help, you can get over this issue.
Oh, no. Just give me a couple days.
Yeah.
I'll get something back.
Alrighty, guys. So yesterday was a fun day in the NFL. The NFL trade deadline passed. Definitely some moves going on. There was a NFC East fire sale, but it wasn't the Giants. So we'll go over all the moves there for you guys there. And of course, go over our weekly picks for this week coming up here, week 9 in the NFL. Week 9! 9!
We are playing Germany, by the way.
Wait, there is I didn't think about that. Week 9 it came in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hail to the chief.
Well, we're not going there. That's an American.
That's an America thing.
We're good.
That's an America thing.
It's not hailing anybody while we're in Germany. That's just not going to go over very
God.
well. For right reasons, that's not going to go over very well. Oh my gosh. There's a joke we can cancel for. That's it right there. Alrighty, so let's get off the topic of Nazis and go right over to our notes here and grades on the trades here that went on this week, I should say. So we got them in chronological order here for you. That's a special we're taking this here. So obviously we already talked about the Giants' big trade there. Just to recap, we did trade Leonard Williams away to the Seattle Seahawks, paying most of his salary. We're getting back a second-round pick this upcoming draft and a fifth-round pick in the following draft there. So damn good return for a guy that's probably on the twilight end of his I don't want to say career, because he'll probably pay for that in like 5 years or so. The twilight end of his peak. Yeah, that's probably a good way of saying it. Alrighty. So another defensive lineman gets traded out. Kentavious Street gets traded from the Philadelphia Beagles over to the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, I'm going to continue calling them the Philadelphia Beagles now forever.
Forever.
It'd be fun when we play the Eagles. God forbid we actually get somebody that like hey, special guest here covers the Eagles for the Philadelphia Sun or something.
Yeah. Tell me how you feel about them Beagles.
Oh man. Anyway, Atlanta received the defensive lineman there along with a 7th-round pick and gave up a 6th-round pick. That's the kind of trades you see a lot of, by the way, that's coming up here. Now comes the beginning of the fire sale.
They're picking and choosing. They're choosing
Chicago. The Chicago Bears. The Bears. Bears. They get Montez Sweat from the Washington Commanders, who received a 2nd-round draft pick back in return for him. Now, keep in mind, much like Leonard Williams, Montez Sweat contract up at the end of the year. We got more for Leonard Williams than they got for Montez Sweat. And I'm wondering one of two things. Either we fleeced the Seahawks, so we are paying the salary as part of it probably. But
it's 100% what it is.
Or is it possible, just possible, that while it's not easy to find guys who can get to the quarterback, it's much easier to find a guy from the outside who can get to the quarterback than a guy from the inside who can create pressure?
That's probably true.
Yeah. I think
statistically, I think that's true.
Yeah. I mean, as Giant fans, I feel like we've kind of been like spoiled because we've been seeing, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams the last couple of years just, attacking the middle of the line there. That's not that common, guys. I think we're going to see that. We're going to miss Leonard Williams a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I still like the trade. I still think it was the right move. But It's not easy to replace that. That's for sure. Next up, we got a starting quarterback trade in the NFL.
Barkley
starting quarterback.
Barkley is now quarterback.
No. Barkley is not the quarterback. We do have a Barkley quarterback. We'll talk about that in a minute, though, too. So Kirk Cousins, obviously, we talked about him being out for the year now with the Achilles injury. Minnesota traded for Josh Dobbs, the former starting quarterback at the Cardinals. Rumor is that Kyler Murray is getting closer and closer to coming back, so Dobbs becomes expendable, much like Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All these guys over their prime that could still
Jet Li
still bring in butts to the seats.
Exactly. But I think it's a good move for both parties there. They get a little bit of their picks back there at that point there. Does Arizona get a little bit of upgrade in their picks? But they also now don't have the logjam or the potential where if Kyler Murray struggles, people want to go back to Josh Dobbs. I can't imagine anybody wants to go back to him per se, but it's funny though.
For a team that we thought was going to try to tank through the whole year, he was mediocre quarterback through the year. Like I'm not going to say he was a great quarterback, but
he was a bad quarterback. I'm going to say he's a bad quarterback, but
he is. But
team overall was fighting.
That's what I'm saying. For a team that was on paper, everyone was saying it's going to tank. He didn't look that bad. He had some good games.
No, like I said, he has some moments.
He's definitely what you want to have a backup quarterback. How I want to do that.
What I find interesting though is remember a couple months ago when he first went to Arizona and he showed a video, I think it was on TikTok or something. That's probably I saw it at least, where he went to the Arizona Cardinals store and he couldn't find a Josh Dobbs jersey. He had to make a custom one to make a jersey for himself to get his family. The writing was on the wall, Joshua. The writing was on the wall.
Yeah. And for the guy that was most of his career as Josh Dobbs is now Joshua Dobbs. Yeah. Like he can't be mad if you call him Josh Dobbs.
I go back and forth now because I've known him both ways now. But this trade actually apparently only happened because trade talks fell through with the New Orleans Saints. They wanted Jameis Winston, which would have been an interesting pick for Minnesota to get him. Jameis Winston,
fantastic.
Now it adds a little bit of intrigue into this whole thing. Is Jameis Winston sat down with brass at the Saints and they told him necessarily he might get a chance to start because they're not exactly happy with the way Derek Carr's doing. So just thought interesting little side notes with that trade there. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but is that what they said to keep him there?
I mean, do you really want to say that Derek Carr is lighting it up right now?
No, I'm not going to say that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Compared to our quarterbacks, he is, but
he's not lighting it up. They know what they have in Jameson Winston. Like they've seen how this guy's played. They know what he is. Derek Carr was a little beat up for closer to half this year.
He's beat up in general. I'm telling you, that shoulder is not the same. That's what it is. The shoulder. It's just not the same.
No, so it's like you might have a starting job with a team that's possibly a playoff potential team to a team that is in the run. Let's be honest. The Vikings are in the run.
Playoffs.
Like I said,
there is a run. That's for sure. I mean, the Saints are too as well. So.
I'm not saying they're not, but that's such a shitty division. Only one team out of that division is going to win.
There can be only one
out of that division.
Yeah, there's no wild card coming out of the NFC South. I think that's safe to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have the potential maybe in the North, maybe in the East.
But I don't think the conversation wasn't like, "Hey, would you?" The conversation wasn't like, "Hey, do you want to go to Minnesota?" It was more like, "Hey, we decided not to trade you, and this is why."
Yeah, touche.
So, next up, Jacksonville Jaguars trade get Ezra Cleveland, the guard/center from Minnesota, give up a 6th-round pick for him. It's a pretty good move overall. Still a young guy, got a lot of potential there, a lot of years left to play. I think the next one's probably the biggest shocker of this whole trade deadline deal. The San Francisco 49ers get Chase Young for a 3rd-round draft pick. That's a steal, guys. That's a steal. That's a really good move for San Francisco. Keep in mind, he played with Bosa in college too. So
we're old sack buddies.
Yeah. You get that double sacker going again.
Oh my.
So for a team that's all of a sudden gone a little bit of a slide, you get a really good pass defender at that point. They're a really good chaotic creator. That's what he is. Chase Young has got his issues, don't get me wrong. He's not the easiest to coach. He's got his health issues. There's all kinds of rumors coming out of Washington now how he wouldn't listen to the coaching staff whatsoever. But cannot dispute the talent there. Cannot dispute the talent. So let's see if he can actually get it together this year and have a legit full season of that talent showing at that point, not just the potential, but good move for San Francisco overall.
Get that man in Bruce.
Yeah. But who'd have thought Washington would give up Montez Sweat and Chase Young and only get a second?
They've talked about Chase Young so much.
But a second and a third, that's all you get?
Yeah,
that's bad.
They got really tricked and not treated.
Really bad.
Oh, you see what I did there? Oh, Halloween
thing.
Boo this man.
Boo. Next up, the Detroit Lions. Since all their receivers have been caught gambling, we went and get Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a 2025 6th-round draft pick. Not even this year, the following year. That's a little crazy, I think.
Talk about kicking the can down the road.
like, what's the point of this to Cleveland? Our rebuilding efforts are complete now that we have this 2025 6th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
So I gotta imagine something's going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a team that knows they're going to suck next year as well.
Yeah. The Buffalo Bills went ahead and got Rasul Douglas, the cornerback from the Green Bay Packers. They got a 5th-round pick back along with the player and gave up a 3rd-round pick. So, not too bad.
Shabby.
It's a little better than giving up a 6th and getting a 5th back kind of thing. I keep saying in there. I want to see some trades. Goddammit, get some good trades going.
Yeah, especially with their the cornerback going down a few weeks ago. So at least it keeps them in potential of still being a playoff team.
Exactly. So, overall, like I said, I think some pretty good moves overall. So we already said as far as Atlanta getting Sheet and giving up getting a 7th back and giving up a 6th to Philadelphia, I think it's a pretty good move with them. Grady Jarrett, one of their defensive tackles, went down with injury last week. This is obviously a team that's still in the playoff hunt. As much as we hate the Philadelphia Beagles, but you have to admit it's a very, very deep defensive line they have. If you're going to pluck from somebody's backup defensive lineman, that's not the worst team to pluck from.
Yeah.
So they really didn't give up much at all either. You're giving going from a 6th to a 7th-round pick. Who the hell cares? Now, I will clarify this, though, because I forgot to mention this earlier. The 7th-round pick they got is a 25, so they did go back 1 year. But, I don't think you're giving up that much. I would actually give that an A- grade, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like I said, you fixed the need. And then you got Montez Sweat, like we said, going to Washington for a 2nd-round pick. Consider they got more for Sweat than they got for Young. I'm going to give that an A grade there for the Commanders. But, honestly, for Chicago, I don't see the point. It's like you're a bad team. You're not doing good. Montez Sweat is not the difference maker for you. You're giving up a 2nd-round pick. and you might need a second round pick to move up and get a quarterback, depending on what happens with Fields in your final evaluation. So I'm going to give an A to the Commanders, but I'm going to give a D- to the Bears. I like the players. I mean, that stopped me getting an F grade, but you gave up draft capital when you might need it. That's stupid.
Yeah, the Bears have been failing us. Not us, but Chicago for a long time. They definitely get a D-.
And like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I like Montez Sweat as a player, it'd be an F grade immediately. You don't give up draft capital when you might need a quarterback. What happens if all of a sudden they win a couple of games and now all of a sudden they have to maybe use a little capital to get to the player they want? They just lost some very important capital.
Yeah,
that's dumb. Then we got the Minnesota getting Josh Dobbs. I'm gonna say I think I like the move overall for both sides, and I'm gonna give them both an A actually in this one because Arizona gets a little bit back. They get Dobbs as a position where he can start, which is great for him. And for Minnesota, they get a player who's got starting experience. And that's a key thing to have. I mean, he's not going to start this week. Obviously, they'll let him get a little bit into the reins there, and they'll have the kid from BYU start. But you're still talking about a position that Josh Dobbs can go ahead and start the rest of the year now, where he wouldn't have that in Arizona once Murray comes back.
Didn't he play with the offensive coordinator over there? Didn't he play with the offensive coordinator over there before?
Teams, you have to imagine he probably has to play with everyone pretty much.
I mean, I'm still going to give the Vikings like a B on that. There were some other things you could have done, but I do. The only
thing I would say better is go ahead and getting Carson Wentz. And now I keep on beating Carson Wentz horse.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
You must have been while you were kissing me.
Talking about Carson Wentz.
But I mean, I got to think there's something else going on with Carson Wentz. The fact that nobody has signed this guy. Something, I don't know if it's an injury thing or he's wanting too much money or what the deal is, but it just makes you wonder.
It's not a football shade. There could be a lot of things. I just think
it's got to be. It's got to be. Because I'm telling you, the second Kirk Cousins goes down, if I'm the Vikings, I'm like, hey, Carson, come on down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's looked stellar since his rookie year. But
Josh Dobbs looks stellar?
No, not at all.
That's what I'm saying.
He's looked pretty good this year. The team that's trying to tank.
The team looked good. He didn't look good.
For a team that's trying to tank. Listen, the first 4 weeks before Connor went down, his QBR rating wasn't too shabby there. Especially for a guy that should have been the backup, which he was the backup.
I'm just saying.
But Arizona definitely won that trade just with getting back for something that was they just knew flat out like this guy's not going to stay. Yeah,
exactly. So good move all around. All right, so we got Jacksonville getting Ezra Cleveland for a 6th-round pick. I'm going to give a B- to Jacksonville because they got a offensive lineman pretty cheap. But let's be honest, Cleveland also couldn't beat out Garrett Bradbury in Cleveland at that point there to get any kind of big spot there on that team there. So I'm going to give that to them, but I'm going to give a C- for the Vikings because as much as I just said that about Cleveland, should have gotten a starting job, should have gone ahead and beat out for a starting job. You still got a young offensive lineman, and you just gave him up for a 6th-round pick. I'd almost rather go ahead and even have him as a backup in case of an injury than give up for a 6th-round pick. Especially, I think he's only his 3rd year, so I'm pretty sure that they have 1 more year to go on the contract. It's not like he's, gone at the end of the year. But again, things happen behind the scenes we don't know. Perhaps Cleveland was getting kicked off by lack of playing time. And that's the problem we come into grading these kind of things. But I still think, not a bad give up for Jacksonville, but I don't know how excited I can be about a guy who couldn't get the starting job in Minnesota. But for Minnesota, he's still a young offensive lineman that's cheap. I would have thought you can get more than a 6th-round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with the B for Jacksonville because they need a little bit of depth there. They need to protect E2N. They need to protect beautiful hair, Mr. Lawrence.
Lawrence of Olivier.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Oil of Olivier.
It's amazing how every time he takes that helmet off, it's always perfect.
Maybe
But
he's born with it.
Maybe he's made with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
But yeah, I'm actually like you gave Minnesota a C-, but I wouldn't give a C+ because I feel like there's definitely something they didn't like what they saw, and they bailed out before they had to start paying this guy even more.
Yep.
So,
all right, next up, Chase Young to the Niners for that third round pick. I'm going to give San Francisco on this a B+ because I still think that Chase Young's a rental player, and he gave up a third round pick for a rental player. But I think it's a very good rental player to get. Hopefully, it's a shot in the arm to a team that needs it clearly right now. I'm going to give Washington on this though. Like, I want to give them an F. That's how bad it is for me. Like, I want to give them an F. Like, this is a guy that came out of college as a generational talent. We've talked all along how he wasn't really doing anything. He's always hurt. He's not,
DC always
he's not been the player that people thought he was going to be coming out of college. Oh my God, it's like the second coming of LT, like all of a sudden. But guys, he's got 5 sacks in the season. This is going to be a double-digit sack guy potentially at the end of the year. Because keep in mind, he didn't play the first couple of weeks either. So you have that kind of guy and that kind of talent, you find a way to make it work. And you know what? If he doesn't want to sign next year, you tag his butt,
Yeah, I think this is an A move for San Francisco and getting a grade of an A. Oh, that's English language right there for you. I think this is a good move. I think Chase Young was not coached well. I think the coaching staff is way better in San Francisco with way better talent. And guess what happens when you got better talent around you? Your talent shines even more. And if you can get an F-, this team, you know what Washington guy here is. Remember when we were in school, you had to get a 70 or below to get an F. This is like taking the F grade and putting it down to a 65. That's the F they got. You had to lower the bar.
Lower the bar, like Limbo. How low can the grade go? All right, so we got Detroit picking up Donovan Peoples-Jones. Still very young overall. They haven't really used him that much in Cleveland there this year. They really haven't had a quarterback that seems to want to play in Cleveland either, though. So, overall, I'm going to say I give it a B for Detroit because they got a good, I think, a good speedy receiver that's going to thrive in that kind of system there. He's going to be your over-the-top kind of receiver. I'm also going to give Cleveland a B, though, as well, because as much as they didn't really get much back for him, they got rid of a player they weren't using. They got something for him.
Yeah, this is one. Yeah, I could give a B+, B-. It's just like one of those. Okay, this is not a good fit for my team. This might be a good fit for your team. This is how we value them. And that's kind of how it works because it's not like Detroit really needs more wide receivers. They wants
that don't gamble. That's the problem.
Well, that's it. I mean, they got the talent out there, but they need running backs more than anything. But
this is his 4th year. He was a 6th-round pick, so this is the last bit of his rookie deal. So that's what I like about it. But what's crazy is last year, 839 yards in Cleveland. This year, 7 games in, 97. Something's wrong in Denmark.
No, he's playing in Cleveland.
So, like I said, I'm good with the trade for that reason alone.
Yeah.
I know. It's a phrase.
Touche.
So, like I said, touche. All right. Okay, last one is, again, the Buffalo Bills getting Rasul Douglas and a 5th-round pick, giving up a 3rd-round pick. Again, we talked about Buffalo needed a corner. Here's a corner you got that's started 57 games in his career. Has been a starter all year long, even for the Packers here. So, he didn't give up too much for him. He went down 2 rounds and got a guy with starting experience. So at the same point, Green Bay, you saw a player they were probably going to be benching soon because they weren't really too happy with his play, and they got something for him. So I'm going to give a B to both of this one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to A- for both these teams. I liked how Green Bay utilized the trade to get something for something they're not using. And same thing, like I think Buffalo traded well. Like I think the way they move things around, it was kind of like a wash on both sides. And I think both sides really came out big on this.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's a good move for both of them. All righty. Let's go ahead and get into the week 9 picks. Oh yes, the week 9 picks. Before we do real quick, let's get into the comments. You got a couple comments here. We got Raphael popping in. He says, hello, what's up, fellas? And Raphael's going to look very familiar to y'all tomorrow because guess who's coming on the show? That guy.
Ooh.
That guy. We got to get our resident Raider fan in here and get his thoughts, especially this week here, as we'll get into, tomorrow, obviously. But for those who are unaware, in the middle of the night, Josh Daniels packing up his bags. He was sent on home. Antonio Pierce was made the new interim head coach. It died off there.
Yeah, that works.
In the middle of the night. He's been given his walking papers in the middle. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a really bad season. We've gone on, with the issue with the Raiders. So yeah, they fired their coach, they fired their GM yesterday. They're cleaning house, which is just what the Raiders seem to do. It's like spring cleaning for them. They do it once a year, just clean everybody out.
It's November. In the middle of the night, it's November 1st. We do our spring cleaning. Get the F out.
They even got rid of the OC. Like that's how bad it is. So like it's bad. We also got, of course, another comment here from Connor says, "Where's Roberto? Who's this guy with you, Drew? This is Robert.
It's me. I'm right here. I was hoping to grow out the beard and have a Batman chin once I shaved, but I'm stuck with a boy face.
Are you talking about the little goatee, pointy goatee thing?
No, I said a Batman chin. I was looking for a
okay.
broader, bigger chin.
I got you. And you forgot that we're old and our sin stags now.
Yeah, it's not there the same way.
I got you. We're not in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Connor says playing against Antonio Pierce. Wow, yeah, that's a nice little intriguing little thing onto this whole thing here because I'll be rooting for Antonio Pierce after this week.
Yes.
After this week. Now, one last thing that before we get to the picks, we have to go over as well is a little bit of QB action here. So the Giants did make a couple moves here at the quarterback position. For obviously, we all know Tyrod Taylor and his issues he had on Sunday. We're all anticipating him probably not being available for a little while, though. It's very hush, hush, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No one wants to say anything. So we're assuming this. The Giants made some moves. Tommy DeVito has officially been signed to the active roster. Why? Good question. I'd love to have an answer for you. I really don't have one. We're going to go into this week with a quarterback coming off of a major neck injury. I don't care what they say. We were out 3 or 4 weeks. That's a major neck injury. And then you're going to go ahead.
I mean, it wasn't Peyton Manning major injury.
I'm just saying. Then you go ahead and put in a backup quarterback you didn't trust to throw again. And you're like, oh, well, look, you got -2 yards. Let's get you in as the
Problem
backup quarterback
solved.
now. There we go. Great, guys.
Good.
We're going to hope DJ can make it through a game. And we did sign a Matt Barkley to the practice squad, which, to be honest, is where my confusion and part of my anger in this whole situation comes, because I would put Matt Barkley in as the backup right now. And I know he doesn't know the system 100%, but he played for Dable for years in Buffalo. He knows the gist of some of the stuff there. He's now, hasn't played since the year 2020, so it's been quite a while since we've seen him. He's definitely not a good quarterback. We know that.
He's a little
but
rusty.
he's thrown. He's thrown. He even started, once for Buffalo, and was in. When he started, it was 2018 one game. So I mean, I gotta give a little kudos to Matt Barkley overall, though. Who would have thought Matt Barkley would still be in the league 10 years after he got drafted?
Not him or his mom.
It's kind of crazy.
Sorry,
probably no one. Anyway, again, I would have him as the backup in a heartbeat over DeVito. I think we know now what the Giants coaching staff thinks of DeVito, so I wouldn't go anywhere near him. All right, on to the picks, guys. It is time. It is time for Rob to give us the update. How did we do last week? Update. How horrible did we do last week?
Drew, straight up, you had 10 wins. Pretty good week. Puts you at 78 on the year.
Oh, yeah.
Drew, against the spread, you had 5. Boo. Not so hot.
Not so good.
56 on the year. Your over-under, you had 6, though. But you had 60 for the year. And your trifecta, deuce. But you had 25. Which, I mean, I guess our average is, 3.5. So it's not terrible.
Yeah, honestly, the only place I was upset with my picks was the spread picks. I would like to get a couple more of those. But there was just some games that.
You and Vegas.
I think I went a little too cute for my own good. I simplified it again this week.
Yeah, me too. After the Mayo conversation, I was like, oh, I'm going to do all this research.
Oh, yes.
Wednesday beforehand, and I did absolutely none. So we're shooting from the hips this week. I was like, I'm not having Mayo my coffee. I'm going to do all this work. But I got actually caught up at work, and
yes,
I had a pretty good day at work.
For those who may not have seen the episode that posted yesterday, Rob and I have a little side bet this week. So whoever wins the picks, and we didn't announce how we're going to decide who the winner is because we do have multiple categories.
We should do the spread.
You want to just add up each victory?
Overall?
So, for example, I would have had 23 because I had 10
you're taking the
10-5. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would assume we're going to do the spread, but we could do that. That works.
So we'll do it that way. That way each of the things we bet on matters. And so whoever loses this week has to drink mayo in their coffee during the show. We want to see it. We want to actually see that mayo curdle in that coffee.
We're going to dump it in. And listen, dump
it in.
When you lose, Drew, I hope you put it in a clear coffee cup.
When I lose, will not be anytime soon. Oh, yes. All right.
For me, for the spread, I had 9 wins. I was one behind you. Puts me at 69 for the year. Yeah.
Puts me up by 9. I'm up by 9 in that category.
For week 9 in Germany?
9.
I had 6 against the spread. Puts me at 57 on the year, which is one ahead of you, Drew.
1.
Which I see why you don't do the spread.
Is the loneliest. No, it's not because of that. We're tied pretty much neck and neck after.
Yeah,
1 is not a big
close.
difference. 1 is not a big difference. 2 is.
8. Tua.
2 wins is a big difference. 1 is not.
I had 8 against the over-unders. Puts me at 58 for the year, which is 2 behind you. And I had only 1.
2 is a big win.
It is for the.
You can see what I did there, huh? I knew that was coming. I knew
where you go with that. I was trying to disregard it, but you kept going with it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I won trifecta. Puts me at 22 for the year.
Up by today.
Put you up on 3.
All right. Let's go right into this week here. Let's go into tomorrow. Tomorrow. The Titans play tomorrow.
Titans are going into the wonderful Pittsburgh Steelers. The Titans are plus 2.5. The over-under is 30 6.5. Drew, I believe I had the last Monday night pick, so let's go with you first.
All righty, let's go with it here. So the big thing for me is obviously we had a little bit of a resurgence there again last week because Will Levis 4 touchdowns, throwing bombs down the field to DeAndre Hopkins overall. Got Tajay Spears getting into the offense here a little bit the last couple of weeks as well. He's the Teen Titans. That's what's going on. That's what I'm calling them. These are all because they're rookies. The Teen Titans.
That's fantastic.
And he's right. Seriously. The Steelers have been playing very well, but you've mentioned it. The Steelers are kind of playing well because of coaching. They're not playing very well because they have a good team. So, because of that, I'm going, It's like the Steelers, do I want to trust that they're going to pull something out? Do I want to not trust that they're going to pull out? I'm not going to, because Will Levis, Mr. Mayo Coffee himself, is going to be starting. And I'm going to say that he's going to have another good game. That's Boston. That's where all the Catholics live.
It's bonkers.
It's the rhythm method. It works well.
Yeah.
That's why Irish people tend to have small families.
7 kids.
So yeah, I'm gonna bet that the Titans do take care of business. They're gonna win. Nice thing is they're getting some points that helps my spread pick, because if I'm picking them to win, obviously they're gonna be the spread pick. I'm gonna say over on the points too as well. No, I don't think Will Levis is gonna have the same game he had last week, but I do think he's gonna put up a couple touchdowns, and him and Hopkins, hopefully that's a thing that's going to keep going this season here for the Titans, because he needs something to get some juice in that franchise right now.
Yeah, that's our first trifecta pick of the week, if you will. I agree with you a lot of that. Kenny Pickett, is he playing this week?
Pickett.
Dude was so hurt. Kenny.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. I didn't even look that up because that's how confident I am in Will Levis after that.
Well, it's not even confident Will Levis, but Derrick Henry is playing well. You had Spears playing well. D-Hop got in this game for the first time all year. Like, the Titans look like they're playing like Titans of last year. Close, better football than the teams they're playing for the most part.
Go T-Titans. So Ian Rappaport did say that Will Levis and Kenny Pickett both will be starting tomorrow. So we got confirmation that both of them will be in there.
I think that rookie has some bigger hands, so I'll put the football in his hands.
My cat has bigger hands.
He has paws.
I know, and they're really tiny paws, and they go like when they're happy.
I think he's making bread.
All righty.
All right.
So,
up next, we're going to Germany.
Guten Tag.
You got the Dolphins and the Chiefs playing.
Du hast mich. Du hast mich der Frage ingewies gesagt.
You learned way more German for that song than I did.
Actually, I know like the lyric. I know like the gist of the words. I'm
you hate
probably
me because
saying,
I disobeyed you.
No. I'm saying I think that I'm probably way off from what the actual words are, but they sound right. But yeah, that is the translation for those who like Du hast Rammstein and are unaware of what it actually means. Yes, it's Du hast mich fragen wie gesagt. You hate me to say, but I will not obey. That's what it's saying. So basically, the whole, as I've been told, at least, again, I don't speak German. So what I've been told basically is the whole song is about a guy going up to this other guy who's dating a friend of his and saying, are you going to be true to her? Will you treat her right? And blah, blah, blah. And that's where he comes back with his response, which is 9.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a very nice song, but a fun song.
It sounds nice. It's got the little techno
to it. Listen, I'm just saying this. If anybody here goes to a Rammstein concert ever, pretend it's a Gallagher show. Bring a poncho and
smash the watermelon.
I'm just going to say this for those of you who are fans of Something About Mary. It's not hair gel. It's not hair gel. They've been known to throw that into the stands.
Oh.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's kind of a really weird band.
They are German.
Yeah.
They do wear.
I've always wanted to
outfits.
go to Germany and go to a the like a poetry, I love poetry thing. I think it'd be funny because they always sound angry.
And yeah, that's one of those rough languages like Creole,
Yeah.
that Haitian language.
No, because they can do love poetry stuff like that. I've seen people happy speaking Creole and stuff like that. I'm talking like when you're talking.
Have you ever
like
met
German,
a man that speaks Creole? Creole?
Yes.
Every time they have a normal conversation, it sounds like they're yelling.
No, but I'm saying like German, especially. They're like the flowers smell lovely this morning. Just not that timer.
Right, pronunciation same like Mandarin or Cantonese, or even like Russian at that point. They're all just like sounds like they're so mad for no reason.
I wonder what they think about Americans. Probably they sound so stupid.
Right, they sound like so soft.
Anyway, let's get back to the game here.
All right,
back to the game.
Dolphins are playing the Chiefs, who are at home in Germany. I'm not going to say that comment again. Chiefs are plus 2.5 for this game. The over/under is 50.5 points.
It's fall time for Patrick Mahomes in Germany.
Who's gonna kick some booty?
Listen, if anybody's a Mel Brooks fan, they'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I think last week was a big old fluke for them. I think the Dolphins at times are hit or miss. Chiefs also apparently are on their way or in Germany as it is now. I know Dolphins, I think on Monday to go out there. Patrick Mahomes had a flu last week. He should be clear to play free this week. He plays great out of country, and it's a get right game. They look terrible against a terrible team. And I also believe the Chiefs defense is way better than the Dolphins defense, which will keep Tua in check enough so this way the Chiefs can win this game in the over. Drew?
So you and I are completely different ends of the spectrum here. So we're completely different. I have the Chiefs to win, but I'm sorry, I have the Dolphins to win, and obviously cover the spread. 2.5 points is nothing. And I have the under. I think the Chiefs defense has actually been playing pretty decent this year for the most part. Obviously they got a big old defensive tackle like us in the middle that can do some damage. I do think though that, in the end though, the offense just hasn't been, and it's not just last week with this flu game. They just haven't been right. So, in the end, I can't trust the team. It hasn't looked right for a few weeks now. So I'm going to trust the Dolphins to continue doing their thing. And I'm going to go with Dolphins winning, Dolphins covering, and under on the points.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying with some of that. But at the same time, how much was the Chiefs not looking right the past few weeks besides last week compared to what they were running as a play?
In general, their offense hasn't looked right all year long.
What's their record? How many wins do the Chiefs have right now?
Oh, they got wins, yes, because of the fact that they've gotten – what do they got? A defense, which is why I got the under.
They also have been playing clock management all year, and that's why they stuck to game plans.
Good luck managing the clock against the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they got this. Listen, we'll see who's right when you're drinking some mayo in your coffee. We'll see.
The Patriots kept them to the under, so let's keep it at that.
We'll see. All
right, going to Sunday, 1:00. Falcons going into Atlanta play. You got the Vikings going into Atlanta to play the Falcons. The Vikings are +5. They're saying, Mr. Cousins, meh. Over-under is 37.5 points. Drew, who do you got?
So this is the game we said was going to happen. You and I called this a while ago. We said Taylor Heineke would take over the starting role from Desmond Ridder. Guess what? This is the week. Heineke went in halfway through the game. We talked about that during the post game there. Well, this week, Taylor Heineke has been named the starting quarterback for the Falcons. So
we talk about that.
We got this. We got this. Now, Jaron Hall. We talk about him, the rookie quarterback from BYU. He's going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. They're not going to throw Dobbs in with less than a week of practice. So in the end, you got a rookie late round pick versus a guy with some starting experience. So considering the offense was the only good thing the Vikings had, yeah, I'm going to go Falcons. I think this is going to be a nice, simple win for the Falcons. Falcons win. Falcons cover the spread, which is 5 points. That's the one that makes me less nervous. Sorry, I should be more nervous than the actual win overall, because the Falcons have had trouble putting up points. I'm going to trust that they're going to pull back a 6-pack of Heineke and get something going there. And I got under on the points though overall, because I think the Vikings are going to struggle scoring even worse than the Falcons here. No Justin Jefferson, I believe he's still out. And then on top of that, you're on to a rookie late round pick quarterback. Yeah, this is not going to be a pretty game for Viking fans. Maybe travel somewhere, go to like a Caribbean island for the weekend or something. Like, I would say travel somewhere locally, but it's Minnesota. You don't want to go.
Don't you know? Actually,
don't you know it's cold there already?
I agree with you across the board. I think
in that case, I changed my mind. The Vikings don't.
Listen, Vikings, the one thing that kept them in all these games was that offense. The one thing that kept the Falcons in all these games was the defense. They both got new starting quarterbacks. Both offenses are going to look the same. So let's look at the defenses. The Vikings defense. Sus.
Yeah.
All right, up next.
One got better with QB, one got much worse.
Yes. And one has a way better defense.
Oh, yes.
All right, we got Seahawks going into Baltimore playing the Ravens. Ravens are plus 5.5. Boom.
5.
I double check that. Actually, that score went down a little bit. We went off of this. I think it's 3.5 as tonight. At least on one of the sports books.
Okay.
That's listen. We had it at 5.5.
I literally picked the. I picked them off of CBS Sports. They put up their latest ones only because they're easy to.
Listen, they're going to be doing this. Yes, we'll say everything's going to be going up.
It's
down.
Not that they're that good. It's just easy to copy and paste them on a spreadsheet. Yeah. So we're going with it.
But the over-under is 43 points. I'm taking the Seahawks to win this game.
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete finds a way to win. I'm actually going to take the Hawks to cover this as well. Like, I teetered on this idea, but I think the Hawks they're going to win by a touchdown, and it's going to be in the over. I think both teams will put up points, but at the end of the day, the Hawks are going to win. I don't want to say handily. I think the Ravens are going to find a way to lose this game, or the Hawks are going to find a way to win this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really close game. Personally, I think this is going to be one of those games that the Seahawks have been putting up allowing teams put up some yards against them. They went out and got Leonard Williams, but he's going to take a week or two probably to get really situated in that defense. So it's kind of a pick'em game. This is not one I would put money on. I would avoid this like the plague personally. But yeah, I would go Seahawks to win. I got Ravens to beat the spread, and I got over on the points. I do think it's going to be some points put up.
Coming down to our spread. All right, talk about another fun game. You got the Cardinals going into Cleveland playing the Brownies. Cardinals are plus 8 points in this game. Wolf. And the over-under's 37.5. Talk about disrespect on both these teams.
It should. 100% these teams should be disrespected. So here's the problem. We talked about how great it was they got something for Josh Dobbs. So great move. Kyler Murray is still not playing right now. That leaves them with Clayton Tune. Now, if he sounds like somebody who works at a piano shop, you'd be correct. He does sound like that. He's the quarterback out of Houston. Houston. Not even like a bigger school. Houston. 5th-round pick this year. A lot of like rookie quarterbacks getting a chance to start this season. I feel like it's really weird. Like a lot of late-round pick rookie quarterbacks. So yeah, he's literally thrown for 4 yards in his career by completing the only pass he's thrown, which was a few weeks ago. He's gonna probably be the guy though for a week or two at that point there. So I guess they got to at least see what he is and see if he might be a long-term backup quarterback for him. So, or maybe they just thought their team's been playing too well with Dobbs. They really want to make sure they keep that first overall pick. So, we'll see what's going on there. Then you go to the Browns side, and we talked about this. This is Deshaun Watson just doesn't want to play. He's been cleared to play multiple times, just doesn't play. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like, I don't know what's going on there. It's like he got paid, just doesn't give a damn anymore. But yeah, he is, regardless or not, he's on the team that's the better team. Even with PJ Walker as the quarterback, that's the better team. PJ Walker, I would take him over Clayton Tune. So 100%. They got the running back, they got the star receiver, they got the top defense in the NFL basically right now. We talked about that. It's kind of like top 3. They're just always have that debate there. But yeah, so better quarterback, better weapons, better defense. So yeah, Browns all day long. Browns to win. And I'm going to say Browns to even cover the spread because the Cardinals have been letting me down the last couple of weeks, but I've been picking them the spread pick. And I'm going to say under on the points because 37.5 sounds really low. And you guys know, if you watch this on a regular basis, especially I did this a lot last year, I don't tend to pick a lot of the picks at that point that for under when they're under 40 points, because 40 points you kind of expect in an NFL game. But this is the second one I'm going to do that with this week here because it's just not something you fully expect there. You don't expect them to put those kind of points. It's 2 really bad offenses right now. All right, let's go into the comments here real quick while Rob takes a quick break here. Connor says, I'm Rob Man. It's like Iron Man. Deb says, I've heard that McDaniels lost the locker room. Hard to recover from that. Do you think the team is still behind Dable? 100% I think the team is still behind Dable. I really do. I think the difference is Josh McDaniels is a dick. We've known he's a dick forever. Look what he did at Indianapolis. That's enough to tell you right there he's a dick. But he went in there and people didn't like him off the bat. So you're going to have a hard time keeping a locker room when you're having trouble, just having them like you at all. And it's not even like you, like they want to hang out with you and go to your birthday party, like the draft day thing and all. Like, there's got to be a respect there. Like, I would never go out and invite my boss out for beers. Like, we don't have that relationship. We don't have to. But at the same point, there's a respect there. If something happens bad in his life and I know it, I'm like, hey, dude, sorry to hear about whatever. Is there something I can do to take something off your plate right now? Because I know you got stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like, we would have that kind of conversation and vice versa. But it doesn't mean we have to be buddies. McDaniels didn't even have that level. McDaniels had the level of like, I hate you and I hope that you're gone. Nobody liked him. So yeah,
it's terrible.
It's the truth. Connor said, who's going to coach with Antonio Pierce? They fired everybody there, LOL. Well, I guess they're going to keep on putting position coaches up and assistant position coaches up, and they'll figure it out. It's what they do. Next man up. It's kind of like when a player gets hurt. He also says, I'm throwing up my mouth with this coffee mayonnaise talk again. Listen, we're going to keep it going all week long, so get used to it. It'll taste better than coffee and mayonnaise. Connor says, what are you thinking Carl Banks quitting the WFAN talks? Yeah, that's recent news actually as well. So Carl Banks, for those of you guys who may not be aware, he was doing a weekly segment with the at WFAN crew. Actually got hung up on while he was going on them about going crazy about Kayvon. Ironically enough, right before Kayvon has this big breakout 3-sack game. But yeah, they point hung up on him. He was done. Listen, if you know anything about Carl Banks enjoys having a certain amount of respect, which he deserves. The man was a all 80s team player in the NFL. Should have been in the Hall of Fame. I still supposed to say that. I still say he should be in the Hall of Fame. Anytime you're all decade and you're not in the Hall of Fame, something wrong.
100%.
You know, talking about a guy who started a business in clothing, has been a media guy now for decades. I mean, impressive career, driven guy. People who are impressive and driven, they don't necessarily always want you to kiss their butt, but they demand a certain level of respect because they're used to getting it, and rightfully so. So you disrespected the man, you lost the man. I don't blame him at all for leaving. I really don't. Deb says, I did not hear that at Banks. Well, now she did. Let's see. Connor says, not football, but Bob Knight died. That's why we had the gnome in the beginning, because that just went down as well recently. Bobby Knight died. So everybody throw a chair in his honor, because I don't care how many years it's been. I hear Bobby Knight, I still think of a chair throwing. Keep in mind that, like, my generation at least didn't really see him in his heyday. Like, we didn't see him coaching Isaiah Thomas and all that in the 70s. Like, that was his heyday. But that's what we know him as. We know him as the guy who got pissed off and threw chairs around.
Yeah, it's the first thing.
It is. Connor says, freaking Waller hurt. Shake my head. See, I didn't say smack again. I've gotten better at this. This is what he's going to do, guys. Here's my whole thing, though.
He is.
I think we just kind of have to accept that, because I want people to recognize this as well about him, because he's going to be potentially out for weeks, guys, too. Just so you know, when I mean like out, he's going to be probably out for a few weeks. He's not going to be a guy that comes back in a week later after that. We know he's been nursing a hamstring issue forever. We know he's had issues playing consistently forever. But here's a guy who is, 384 yards on this team that can't get an offense going, guys. He's had a good season. If you thought Darren Waller was going to make the whole entire season without getting hurt, well, let me remind you how many games he played the last couple of years for the Raiders. That's just what he is at this point in his career. So you just got to enjoy him while you got him. And that's what it boils down to. I mean, I hate to be nonchalant about it, but it's like, yeah, Darren Waller got hurt.
We talked about this when we got him.
Who would have thought? The guy who played 9 games last year for the Raiders, 11 games the year before that. He's had only 2 years that he was played every single game. Those are his two 1,100-yard seasons. But still, it's like, this is what he is. So, like I said, we can't get too upset about it in the end, because we had to kind of see it coming. Though, obviously, I want him healthy. I want him on the field. He's the best receiver we got in the team. Kind of says, get it on Facebook. All right, let's move on to our next game here once we pay the bills.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh, we know John loves that. By the way, I should also say we are officially fully monetizable, if that's the word, on Facebook. So those of you watching Facebook there, if you want to sponsor the show there, you can just go ahead and send stars right there on the actual link on Facebook, right through our page there at that point. So, good to go on that. Now, we need to get that going with YouTube as well here. So if you haven't already, if you're watching the show, you enjoy the show, hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow along, tell your friends, tell your friends. Yes, because that's how the show grows, guys. So we count on you. We appreciate you guys, because I know, obviously we have a lot of people here that we see week in, week out, episode in, episode out. So it tells us we must be doing something right. You guys keep coming back for more. We appreciate you guys. And like I said, just if you got anybody else you want to share it to as well, you think might like it, feel free, go ahead. More the merrier. All right, let's get on to the next game here. Oh, yes. Talk about bad games here. Was it your turn or my turn? I forgot.
Oh, it is me. We're going to talk about the Bucs going in to Houston playing them Texans. Bucks are plus 2.5. Over under is 40. Vegas is just saying this game sucks. Here's a flip of a coin. You guys figure it out. That's not a high scoring game. That's what they said here. And I agree with them. I took the under in this game. Both defenses are playing better than both their offenses. Baker's been doing what he does, what I said he's going to do since week 1. He's going to look good for 4 to 6 weeks, and then he's going to dive off and not look so hot. Granted, I do think that the Bucs have some good receivers. It's just hard to catch the ball.
They have 2 good receivers. That's it.
I mean, you can still say a few with good.
I'm saying that's all they have is the 2 guys. Yeah, everybody else sucks.
I mean, Godwin on probably half this roster would be a wide one somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying. Godwin and Evans, the only 2 they got. Everybody else sucks.
But yeah, I'm taking the Texans to win this game. I'm going to take that rookie quarterback and be like, hey, man, do what you got to do. And obviously, they're going to beat that spread because I think 2.5 is just not enough for me to flip that choice there. I was just saying, hey, they don't win by a field goal. Here's a flip of a coin. So, yeah, Texans in the under.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you. I just actually changed my sheets. I realized I thought I put the under on that one. Texans under 100%. Bucks have a good defense but can't score, so that's going to lead to the lesser on the points. But the Texans will put up just enough to barely squeak out a win there.
Yeah, they'll win by 3.
Right. Next game, we got to go back one though. We forgot one before. You skipped one.
Oh, I did skip one. I apologize. Let's talk about the Rams going into Green Bay, playing them Pack Attacks. Packers are plus 3. Over-under is 49.5. Drew, take it away.
Is it 49 or 39.5?
39.5.
It's like, wait a minute. He's just thinking way different than what I saw. I'm definitely taking the under then.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 2 teams that really, really disappointed last week. 2 teams that just got embarrassed basically at that point. Packers got the points though. So Rams are projected to be the winner, but Packers are at home. I'm going to go with the Packers taking care of business. I'm going to put my faith in them one last time. If they're going to be down this time, then fuck them the rest of the year. They're done. That's where I'm at.
They're not quite there for me, but yeah.
Packers and over, I'm going to say in the points. I do think that because both teams tend to put up some points. Now, the other thing that really has me going Packers on this, because Matt Stafford is day-to-day with his thumb injury he suffered when he had that thumb. It wasn't his thumb, actually, it was index finger, I think it was. Got stuck in the face mask. So they still haven't said if he's going to play or not. So if you're going to tell me that Matt Stafford may not play, guess what, guys? We saw what happens when you take Matt Stafford off the Rams last year.
And also, even if he does play, how well is that grip on that football?
Yep.
So I agree with you for that trifecta. I took Pats in the over. I think.
Alrighty.
I do think that both these teams do have the opportunity to put up points. There's just too much talent on both sides, but they also like to both disappoint. But all right, next game, you got the Commanders going into Foxborough playing them Pats.
What does the Foxborough say?
Okay.
Wicked.
That was my best Bill Belichick.
Park the cop at the harbor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. How's it feel to get 300 wins? That was nice.
That's what he does. He's now.
I wonder how he sounds on Christmas.
My voice just goes that way.
Kids.
Merry
I'll gift you off for me.
You know what? Something about him, and I could be wrong in this. He gives me like that Tom Coughlin vibe, where he's probably like the really cool grandpa if he does have grandkids.
I could see that.
I could. So, like I said, like he probably treats kids much differently than adults. Now, when they become adults, he's going to be the grandfather that's overlooking everything they do and complaining about every mistake they make in life.
I could definitely see that.
When they're little kids, though, I feel like he'd be the one like, let's get him the cool gift of the tree.
You could do better than that. Let's go with a better tree.
Yeah, he got into Yale, huh? My friend's grandkid got into Harvard.
Yeah, what are you guys doing over here?
They said that'd be him. But in the beginning, I feel like he'd be the cool grandpa.
I can see that.
All right. Anyway, back to the game.
DC is plus 3.5. Over under is 40.5 points.
I'm gonna go Marvel.
Ooh, yeah, I have to agree. I'm taking the Patriots on this one, Captain America, if you will, which is Mac Jones. Maybe I don't.
Maybe
go
that's
Captain
the thing.
America.
Maybe the NFL needs the helmets to be made out of vibranium for that to stop the concussion issues.
Oh, that would definitely help.
Someone should look into this. NFL, Roger Goodell, we have these ideas for you. We have the ideas.
This would be fantastic. But yeah, I'm taking the pass to win. I'm taking DC to cover because I think both teams know how to put up points, and then whoever wins is going to win by a field goal. So plus 3, I'm going to give it to DC because I'm going to take the pass to win, and I took the under in this game.
Yeah, you and I are on complete opposite spectrums here. I got DC to win. We are similar on the spread because you did pick DC for the spread. But I got the over on the points. I think this is going to be the Sam Howell show. I really do. And listen, I got a lot of respect for this kid. At the beginning of the year, I said I don't think he's a good quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But listen, with the amount of hits this kid's taking, he keeps getting up, he keeps chucking the ball down the field, keeps putting up some yards and some points and everything. You got to respect him. I'm not so sure he's a long-term NFL quarterback, especially with the injury he's going to have, all the hits he's taken. But Sam Howell has earned my respect this season. I'm going to go ahead and say that because the Patriots have played so bad and had some really horrible losses, that this is one of those ones that the Commanders sneak out some wins. Maybe they got some malcontents out of the locker room too with their fire sale. It's kind of interesting that they get those two guys gone. And that was their strength, was defensive line. So they gave up some of their strength. I'm kind of curious what their defense does overall with it. And I think that's going to allow the Patriots to put up some points now, whereas they may not put much at all. So now all of a sudden you got some points being put up by them. You got some points being both sides. And next thing you know, fun. Points.
Could be, but agree to disagree here. We'll see when you have your mayo.
Or yours.
All right, touche. Let's see if we agree on this game.
Oh, yes.
Because this is a prime time, Amazon Prime kind of game.
We don't agree. I can already see.
The Bears are playing the Saints. The Bears are plus 7.5 over.
Oh, when the Bears
40
go marching in.
1 point.
Oh, when the Bears go marching in. Yeah. And this should be the return of Justin Fields as well. This should be that game that Justin Fields comes back. So my turn, I believe, this time, right?
Yes, you go.
Okay. All right. So simple. I got Saints to win. 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 I got Saints to win because the Bears suck. Not because the Saints are any good. The Bears just suck. It's purely a Bears suck pick. So, yeah. So I got Bears to win. I got Bears to cover this. Sorry, Saints to win. Saints to win. Saints to cover the spread. And I actually got over on the points as well because I do think the Saints will put up some points. Keep in mind, even like the Broncos and other teams to put up some points against this Bears defense. So let's hope I'm right there because I don't want to have any mayonnaise in my coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the Saints to win this game because the Bears suck. But similar to the Saints, I don't think they cover the spread, and I don't think it's in the over because I think both teams are trash pandas or raccoons, if you will.
Rocket raccoons.
They're rocket raccoons.
Went back to Marvel again.
Right back to Marvel. I do think that it's going to be a little bit of a close game, but the Bears just have to keep it within a touchdown. This is way too big of a spread for me. And
all right,
I don't trust either of these teams.
All right, next up we got what should have been the battle of top rookie quarterbacks, and Anthony Richardson had to F it up by getting hurt. So
what a jerk.
Way to go. Yeah, that'll be a fun one there. So go for it, Rob.
You got the Colts going in to play the Panthers. Panthers plus 2.5. Over-under is 44. I'm going ahead and just went Colts in the under. Panthers have been awful this year. Yes, they won last week. Every blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. That might be.
Clock is right twice a day.
Yep. They might be lucky to have 2 wins on this year. It's not going to be against this Colts team that's been playing pretty good football for the most part.
And what sucks is they're going to have such a horrible year and then just give that pick right to the Bears.
Yeah, I know.
It's just horrible. All right. Next up is one that we always do quickly here. You know the rules, guys. We do not discuss much on the Giants games because we have a whole preview episode coming for that. So Giants and Raiders. Giants are being given 2 points. Over-under is 37.5. I got Giants under.
Giants over.
Ooh.
Let's talk about the next. Let's go to America's game, if you will. You got the Cowboys playing the Eagles.
Is it bad that I'm rooting for a natural disaster?
No. Every time we have a divisional game, this is what I do when the Giants are playing them.
Lightning crashes on the middle of the field.
Yeah. Little lightning balls right in the middle.
Odin's son comes down and just.
Ooh, yes. Back to Marvel.
Oh, yes. Well, Marvel / Norse mythology.
Touche. The Cowboys are going to Philly to play the Eagles. The Cowboys are plus 3 points, which is just saying, hey, this is a flip of a coin because the Phillies are playing at home, even though they're technically the best team in football, quote unquote. Over under
very big quote unquote there.
6 points. I'm taking the Eagles to win this game, Drew. I think the Eagles are hands down the better team. The Cowboys have been playing better, and apparently McCarthy let Dak cut loose last week just because that was in their game plan.
Footloose.
They let him go Kevin Bacon.
Shoes.
They let him go Kevin Bacon because that was.
We don't allow dancing in this town.
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, if there's going to be a town that didn't allow dancing, it'd be in Texas.
It'd definitely be Jerry Jones' town. He just allowed robberies. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles, and I'm taking the over in this game.
You know what? Do you know what the record is for the Cowboys against the Eagles the last 10 games?
What is that?
7-3. That's the record the Cowboys have the last 10 games against the Eagles. So
that's good to know.
So I'm going Cowboys. Cowboys to win. Cowboys obviously getting points. So that means they'll be the spread pick. And I'm with you on the over on the points. That's one thing we definitely agree on. But this is a game that I just got to hope for a ton of injuries and a ton of issues. And
yeah,
I feel bad saying that, but I just hate both teams so much. It's like I feel very confused when I watch the Cowboys and Eagles play. So I'm like, who do I root for? I don't know.
I just hope they both get gonorrhea at the same time.
They both already have, probably.
I mean, look at the towns they're in. All right. Sunday night football time?
Sunday night.
Night. You got the Bills going into Cincinnati Bengals.
Where they put their chili over their spaghetti.
Spaghetti and chili.
No,
Bills are plus
with cinnamon.
That's gross. Bills are plus 2.5 points. Over under is 48.5. Drew, who are you taking this game?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. The Bengals have been on a little bit of a tear lately. The Bengals have been doing pretty good. Plus, continuing our trend of thumbnails and people with the jersey number of the week we're in. Joe Burrow is the thumbnail for this episode. So, therefore, I'm going to go with the Bengals to win. The Bengals cover because 2.5 points. I couldn't care less about the spread at that point. And on the under, on the points, because I do think the Bills have been having trouble getting things going on offense some games. And this is going to be one of those games where I think that might continue because the Bengals have always been a pretty good defense the last couple of years there. So you got a little bit of a slow start. You got Bills still being a good defense overall, which keeps the Bengals somewhat in check. So I'm going to go under. That's a high total. That really is. I think it's more like a 24-21 kind of game, or that kind of game. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you for the most part. I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking the over. I think the Bengals have just been a better team of this past
your
month of
spread
football.
pick said this Bengal. You just picked one Bengal.
Yeah, I just want one of them to win. That plus. Joe Burrow himself, who's got that healthy calf. He's been playing lights out this past month. And guess what's been happening over the Bills? They were having some problems. So, like you said, 2.5 points is nothing in this spread. I'm taking the over because I do think both teams are going to put up some points, but I think the Bengals are going to put up way more points.
All righty. It brings us up to the last game. The final game now.
You got the Chargers going into MetLife Stadium, playing them Jets.
What is it with MetLife Stadium and freaking primetime games, by the way? How many games between the Jets and the Giants has there been? Like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. And what's funny is that Jets and Giants play each other and it's not a primetime game.
It's terrible. Jets are +3. Over-under is 41.5. I am taking the Chargers to do a get-right game. They're going to cover that. And then I'm taking them in the over because I think they're going to beat up on the Jets. Hold
on. Okay, so I got the Chargers to win this. I do think they win because they can put up some points the Jets can't. We've seen that. We saw that firsthand last week. I do have the Chargers winning and covering the 3-point spread because again 3 points isn't that much. But I do think keep in mind that the Jets have a pretty good defense there. So that being said, I'm going to go under on the points there because I do think that you're going to see just enough defense to stop it from being an absolute blowout, if that makes sense there. So I'm thinking it's more of those like 13 to 24 or 27, like that kind of game there. Where it's going to get close to that over-under number probably, but it won't quite get over the hump because of the fact that Jets just can't put up those kind of points there. So, all right, well, we'll see who's right. Again, whoever wins this week between me and Rob, we get to watch the other guy have their coffee with mayo. That's going to be gross. So that alone is worth watching next week's Picks episode 4. That alone is what's worth doing it. Okay, and Rob's back now, guys. When you stop talking trash about him, he's a nice guy. I told you.
Keep talking that trash.
So I was just telling about how you're going to enjoy your coffee with some mayo next week. So guys, we'll be back on again tomorrow night. Oh, yes, tomorrow night. Like I said, we got Raphael coming back on the show here tomorrow to discuss the Raiders. Since we got the Raiders this week. And like I said, it's an interesting game. We'll obviously talk more about the Josh McDaniels and his firing and, Ziggy Stardust, their GM, being fired as well. What's that his name? I don't know. Whatever his name was. And then, like I said, we'll go over what this means because they've already announced Jimmy G ain't playing quarterback this week, guys. We're going to have another one of those late round pick rookies to face there. So it's almost like the Raiders should have kept Derek Carr, and that was a mistake. Who would have thought that? Who would have seen that coming? All
mediocre
of us.
For mediocre, but one was a little healthier, more through his career.
Yeah, it's like almost like we knew something there. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. That'll be 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we do shoot live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, and Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. Oh yes, and I do want to say a little special thank you and hello to everybody on Twitter /X there because we've had quite the jump in video views specifically on there lately. I don't know if Twitter's just rewarding us and showing more people because of the fact that all of a sudden we are, tweeting more during the games now and stuff like that, mostly because I'm pissed off at the team. But whatever, we'll take it. So welcome if you're new to Twitterland. Oh, yes. Like, I'll give you a Tesla if you do it. It's not a great car. It's not very dependable. But people will think you care about the environment, even though it's not actually that good for the environment.
I want one of the Cybertrucks. I want something to look like I was driving a micro machine.
Yeah, the unbreakable windows is the big selling point for me.
No, it's a bulletproof car. The windows are not, unless you get the fixed version. I was just listening to them talk about this.
Oh yeah, okay. Anyway,
I watched him shoot an arrow. I watched him shoot a a very, very high-powered bow into the car, and it did absolutely nothing.
A high-powered bow.
Listen, if you get the proper bow, any hunters out there, if you have a 90-pound bow that's shooting an arrow at 600 feet per second, you shoot most guns, it's at 450, which he's going to have demonstration come out next month. Shooting a Tommy gun.
He'll probably mess it up, move to the next window, and mess that window up too. Oh, wait, he already did that because Elon's a schmuck. Oh, yes, I said it. Elon's a schmuck. Anyway, we're also, of course, available on all the audio podcast platforms as well that Eli Musk does not own. So, therefore, again, we are available next day on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Alexa, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, Overcast, Castro, Podbox, Podfriend, and Good Pods. A lot of us have pod. Like, do you think they're in these meetings going, "Oh, this would be creative. Let's use the word pod in it." Like, people will think that's creative and fun.
And up next, Drew and I are going to make goof pods.
Oh yeah, like seriously. Okay, enough guys with the word pod. We get it. It's a podcast thing. You want to throw the word pod in there. Everybody's already done it. You're not original anymore. Alrighty, guys. Again, we will see you guys next time there. We are live again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there. We'll see you then. Appreciate it as always. Have a good night. Have a good day. And see you tomorrow. As always, Giant fans.
Drink mayo. Go G-Men. G-Men.
Wow. What the hell was that?
G-Men. Sorry.
You destroyed the sanctity of the Go G-Men with the mayo talk. Okay. We're beyond the trash talking now. Now it's time to take this serious, okay?
Okay.
Ready? Go G-Men!
Go G-Men!
Go G-Men! Go G-Men! Enjoy your mayo.
Mayo.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.